This was back in 1983. I was making a big reality television program all over the world with Sean Weatherly and like 16 Navy SEALs. And we decided we tried to get into the forbidden waters of Havana Harbor. It was a very difficult time between Cuba and the United States. We'd worked through different people, Nixon, Kissinger, to get permission. We got permission, and we went there. And we wanted to shoot in the forbidden waters of Havana Harbor, but we hadn't gotten permission to shoot there by the Cuban government. And we waited and waited and waited in our boats. And then we heard that Castro was coming. We had nicknamed him Cool Breeze. Cool Breeze was coming. And we got all ready. We lined up all the special ROV equipment and dive equipment on the boat because we knew he was a scuba enthusiast. In fact, we knew that the CIA had tried to kill him a few years earlier with the scuba equipment. So we knew he was an enthusiast for sure. And we said, we'll lay it all out and we'll tell him all the facts and figures of how many days we're shooting, how important the show is and all that. Came on the deck, walked around, looked at all the equipment, shook hands with everybody, and I started firing the bullet points, one after the other. All the facts and all the figures. Glances at his watch. All of a sudden, everybody else glances at their watch and starts to make his way off. I knew I was lost. So what did I do? For some reason, Sean Weatherly, who was Miss Universe, was one of the female leads of the show, came on deck and she was carrying a megalodon tooth from an ancient shark. It's a 250-foot long shark, and the tooth is that big. It's as big as your whole fist. It's monumental. That piece of equipment got Castro's attention. And he looked at it, and he was so fascinated by it, and then we're telling the story, and I saw he was totally fascinated by the story of this shark. I dropped my script, which is the key to any good storytelling. Go where they are interested. Don't try to be interesting. See what your audience is interested in. He was interested in this tooth. So I built my story around that tooth. I said, just like this tooth, Mr. President, your Havana Harbor holds the story of all the history of this part of the world. If you allow us to photograph underwater in this harbor and all the things that we find and what we do and create the legacy of all that information, it will live long past both of us. The story resonated with us. He stayed on the boat for several hours, talked about it, talked about the oceans and environmental protection, got totally fascinated by it. Do I think story made the difference? I absolutely, positively do. But what I learned was the key to a story, that the people listening to it, your customer, your client, your patron, your team, your audience, they have to be interested in it, not just try to be interesting as the teller.